To correct string theory, we have to understand the basics of string. For that, we go to the king of string, American physicist Brian Greene, who said, "Strings are small, really small. If you keep dissecting every known particle of matter, molecule to atom to electron to quark, you'll actually get to a bit that can no longer be divided. This is the string. It's a filament of vibrating energy. If you took an atom and expanded it to the size of the universe, a string would be the size of a tree." Although Brian Greene says the true nature of string is indivisible, his universe and tree analogy seems to contradict this indivisible claim. Here's a pop culture reference that also contradicts Brian Greene's indivisible claim. Jim Morrison and the Doors took their band's name from the famous William Blake quote, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite." The question is, who's right, Brian Greene or William Blake? We see the difference of indivisible versus infinite is relative to the observer's perspective, or more simply, is in the eye of the beholder. If the true nature of string is not indivisible, but rather infinite, it suggests a primal dimension that precedes the dimension of string. This is where we see the genius of Deepak Chopra, who spoke of this primal dimension in his 1989 bestseller, Quantum Healing. He wrote, "At the quantum level, matter and energy come into being out of something that is neither matter or energy." Now here's an inconvenient truth. Thousands of years ago, some of the most revered wise men told us that all of existence is made of a primal substance and primal dimension that connects and animates all things. I don't know about you, but to me, this sounds an awful lot like string and unified field theory. The problem is, string theory missed it by a dimension. It also shows all the answers for unification have been there, that modern science is a day late, a dollar short, and they're trying to reinvent the wheel. So, if Einstein closed the door on the crude 19th century physical or reductionist point of view in 1905, it's Deepak Chopra's quote about this primal dimension that gives us the bridge out of the theoretical twilight zone of string and unified field theory and into the 21st century reality of unification. Here's a question for modern science. While America is watching the decline of man, within the epicenter of intellect and the greatest period of scientific advancement in the history of man, can we really afford to ignore the most enlightened and revered sages of all time? In my book, I give credit to those who understood this primal dimension, and I go on to reconcile it with life and man. I do this by creating and solving the equation of unification.